Tonight's episode of WWE RAW kicked off with former Intercontinental Champion Gunther. He had a lot to say ahead of his World Heavyweight Championship match against the Judgment Day's Damian Priest. He reflected on what he said to Damian Priest last week and then said that he meant every word. He also called Damian Priest and the WWE Universe bums. Gunther then said that today would be the day that Judgment Day will be judged by the ring general. He also called the Judgment Day street trash. Damian Priest then came out. His music hit. He wasted no time and connected with a right hand on Gunther. A brawl kicked out between the two superstars. WWE officials ran down to the ring to try and break Priest and Gunther up. Back from the break, we saw Priest and Gunther continue to brawl with each other backstage as well. After that, a number one contenders match for the Intercontinental Championship with winner receiving their match at WWE SummerSlam was held. Ilya Dragunov vs Braun Breaker. As expected, this was a very hard-hitting match between two of the biggest strikers in WWE at the moment. At one moment, Dragunov fired off strikes on Braun Breaker. Breaker then delivered an avalanche Hurricane Rana to Dragunov and went for the pin but failed. The final moments of the match saw Braun Breaker intercepted Ilya Dragunov with a spear. The referee began a 10 count but stopped herself. She then checked on Dragunov on the outside and then called off the match. Thus, the winner and new number one contender for the Intercontinental title via referee stoppage was Braun Breaker. In the Judgment Day's lounge backstage, Rhea Ripley updated the rest of the group as to what's going on relating to the group. Dominic Mysterio then asked Rhea Ripley about her flirty interactions with Jey Uso on social media. Rhea Ripley said that she was just having fun and told him not to pick a fight with Jey Uso. We also saw Adam Pearce standing by the two referees from last week as Drew McIntyre shook his hand. There was a time for Sonya Deville vs Lyra Valkyria. The singles match saw Sonya Deville dominating Lyra Valkyria for the most of the match, but in the end, Valkyria delivered a dropkick through the middle rope to take the faction out. Deville then intercepted her and delivered a Devil's Advocate for the big win. Out came CM Punk to a huge pop from the fans in attendance. He then made the big announcement. He was medically cleared this past weekend, then called Drew McIntyre down to the ring for a fight. He told CM Punk that he couldn't say how long he had waited for this. He said nothing will stop him from getting in the ring and tearing Punk apart except he doesn't want to. Punk then went after Drew McIntyre on the ramp. Officials quickly intervened and McIntyre said a match between them is bigger than Green Bay. Raw GM Adam Pearce came out and told Punk that there's a reason McIntyre doesn't want to fight tonight. He then announced that McIntyre's suspension has been lifted and said that McIntyre and Punk will collide at the biggest party of the SummerSlam. Then also said that there is a referee problem for the match. Seth freaking Rollins then came out and shook Adam Pearce's hand. He hugged him, then grabbed a mic in the ring. He told the fans that McIntyre and Punk hate each other. He then said that he wants to put them both in their place himself. He then declared that he will be the special guest referee in McIntyre and Punk's SummerSlam match. Backstage, we saw Dominic Mysterio run into Liv Morgan. Finn Balor catched them speaking and then Liv Morgan left. We then got the final Testament vs Otis, Akira Tozawa and Xavier Woods. The final moments of this match saw Woods firing off right hands on Cross in the corner, but Cross got Woods on one shoulder and sent him crashing into the mat with the final prayer for the win. Winners, the final Testament. After the match, Chad Gable's music hit and he made his way out with the Creed brothers. Otis made it clear to Chad Gable that he will not be rejoining him, and Chad Gable then asked Maxine Dupri and Akira Tozawa if they will. Dupri and Tozawa made it clear that won't be the case. Gable ordered the Creed brothers to attack Otis and Tozawa, which they did. Gable then handed Brutus and Julius a chair each, but the light went out and the Wyatt 6 music began to play. Uncle Howdy appeared in the ring behind Chad Gable. He connected a sister Abigail on him and fell down to his knees. A match between Bronson Reed and Pete Dunne was about to start, but Sheamus appeared and leveled Pete Dunne with a brogue kick. Finally, Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio confronted Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan appeared in the crowd, didn't come out to the ring to face Rhea Ripley, said that she has self-control, said that she can wait until SummerSlam. Morgan said gorgeous men like Dominic don't go for girls that look like Rhea Ripley. She said they go for girls that look like her. Ripley looks to go after Morgan, but Dominic held her back and told Ripley to let him take care of things. Morgan said she knows what Dominic will say and told him she feels the exact same way. She told Dominic to say those three little words, and Dominic then said, to the surprise of Liv Morgan, what he feels about Liv Morgan. I hate you, Liv. He told Morgan that he hates her and says she ruined his life. Morgan was seen crying and headed out of the crowd as Rhea Ripley smiled and whispered something to Dominic before planting a kiss on Dominic's cheek, and the happy pair then headed to the back. Then we saw a singles match between Zoe Stark and Zelina Vega. Fans are aware that Zelina Vega was recently injured, but she still wrestled this match with pain in her arm. Sonya Deville distracted the referee as Shayna Baszler tripped Vega. Lyra Valkyria, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance then ran down to the ring and attacked Baszler and Deville. Back in the ring, Stark landed a power bomb, but Vega clocked her and landed a code red for the win, and the winner was Zelina Vega. Backstage, Adam Pearce informed Drew McIntyre that he and Punk will be meeting with Seth Rollins inside the ring to go over Rollins' instructions of their SummerSlam match. Finally, it was time for the main event. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso took on the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough. McDonough landed a hammer and Elvin elbow or Sami Zayn's head and clocked Jey on the apron. After the break, McDonough tagged in and kept Zayn from tagging in Jey. Later, McDonough fired off chops on Zayn, but Zayn responded with a Blue Thunder Bomb. During the final moments, Jey made the blind tag and landed a kick on McDonough. McDonough later followed it up with a moonsault and went for the pin, but Sami Zayn broke the fall. McDonough and Balor looked to send Jey crashing into the apron, but Zayn pulled out Balor. He then delivered a Helluva kick to McDonough and leveled Balor, Dominic and Carlito, all on the outside, at ringside. Jey then delivered the Uso splash to McDonough for the big win. Winners were Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. So yeah, this was Raw. After the match, Braun Breaker appeared out of nowhere and blindsided Sami Zayn with a spear as the show went off the air. Jey Uso didn't seem too happy with Braun Breaker coming out of nowhere and leveling Sami Zayn with a spear. He could be seen seeing Braun Breaker with an angry look in his eyes. So this was tonight's episode of WWE Raw. Let me know in the comments how did you like tonight's episode and what would you rate it out of 10.